Well, the challenges were that compared to Jungle Book, people know this story inside and out. They know every line, they know every song, every shot. So anytime we deviated from the original, we had to make sure that we did it for a reason and that we were giving this version of the film a different personality while still maintaining consistency with what people have come to love from the original version and from the stage show, for that matter. Also, what was difficult was in Jungle Book, we had a live action character at the lead. We had Mowgli. So to have a live action human that we were photographing helped with the visual effects. Here we pulled that one human character out and now everything was visual effects. And so it was hard to ground it in reality. And so we came up with new techniques, primarily using virtual reality to help us make it look as though it were live action, even though it's completely animated. Technologically speaking, there's a lot of breakthroughs have happened in rendering technology. So things like ray tracing have been refined, the way light bounces around, the simulations for the fur, little things that are maybe not that interesting for a casual viewer, but if you are into the technical side of movies, you could see we've developed a lot of new tools to tell the story visually. But to a viewer, it should all disappear and feel natural, but feel a little bit different than what they've seen before. It really felt like we were working on a tech project as much as on a movie. There are no surprises as far as we didn't really deviate from the original story. We more expanded upon it. And we drew from source material. There were scenes that were deleted from the original animated film that gave us some clues. There were scenes that were in the stage production that aren't in the original film. And we even drew upon one of the plays that inspired it was Hamlet. So we even tried to draw inspiration from all of those sources and to help flesh out the dimensionalized version of Lion King that we're trying for. I think it's like any time people are very familiar with a song or a piece of material is that when they feel very connected to the version that they grew up with or they've seen before. And it's like seeing a band play a live version of a song that you're used to listening to the album. You know, there's a certain way that it's done on the album and you want to hear certain things exactly like it is, but then you also want the band to have some freedom to bring the energy of a live performance. I think that's a good analogy here, that we wanted to stay true to the album version of it, but we wanted to let the new performers and the new artists bring their own style and embellishments to it. It's hard to say what made me want to choose these actors, because casting, I think, is probably the most important part. You know, if you look back to the Marvel movies I've worked on, the cast is really what I think elevated those productions and gave them their personality. And there's so few things that you could change because the original Lion King is so prominent. Casting is one of the areas where we had a lot of freedom. So it's interesting to see Donald Glover's interpretation of Simba and his interpretation of the songs, and Timon and Pumbaa with Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen to see how they sing Hakuna Matata and how Beyonce sings Can You Feel the Love Tonight. That brings a whole new personality to the movie while still staying true to the original.
Yeah, and yet James Earl Jones is back for this one. Why
I
did
felt
you
that.
settle on that?
Yeah, I felt that was a good way to anchor it, because that's a character, spoiler alert, that's not in the whole movie. So it was a really good way to ground the film and to let the fans of the old film know that we had respect and appreciation. And when they saw James Earl Jones was in it, when they heard his voice for the first time in the trailer, hopefully they felt comforted that we respect the original source material. Much like an animated movie, you know, because really the techniques are almost exactly the same as an animated film. So we would have the performers record the voices. I would have them in a room together. I'd actually have them standing up and moving around, and we would mic them, but it wasn't like an animated film where they're standing in a sound booth. You know, whenever we could avoid it, we would have them all together, improvising, overlapping, and then we would edit that together into one full voice track of the film, and then we would create storyboards and animate on top of their performances.